So let's better understand the scope problem. We are currently in the Northwind Orders project. Let's go ahead and add a new controller. We'll call it Customers Orders. And it will have a run method that accepts the customer ID and shows all the orders for that specific customer ID. Now in our Northwind Customers project, we would like to add to the Show Customers view a button where we'll call our Customers Order class. When we try to say new orders customers orders.run, we get a little red line underneath it and we get an error saying that the type or namespace show orders does not exist in the namespace Northwind orders. And this is because the Northwind customers is not aware of the Northwind orders DLL. It doesn't reference it. Everything that Northwind customers is aware of is within these lines, everything that is green. And since it doesn't see the Northwind orders project, it cannot call it. So how do we deal with that? Well, let's switch over to the Northwind Orders project, and there's a set of steps that we do to make that available across all of our projects. First step, we rename the Customers Orders class to Customer Orders Core. We can do that using F2 or Ctrl+R, and it will change it wherever it's used within that project. Next, in the base project, we'll create an abstract class called Customer Orders. There's a template for that abstract base class which we'll use. Notice how the namespace is the exact same namespace over here, and that makes life easier in the code. And the base class is defined as the base class of our original controller. Also notice that the name is the exact name as the original name that we had, or the same name without the core. Perfect. Now, in this abstract class is the abstract definition of what it means to be a customer's orders screen. So to be a customer's order screen, I need to have a run method that accepts a customer ID. So we'll adjust the run method to accept a customer ID. The idea behind these two classes is to separate the definition of the customer's orders with the implementation of the customer orders. The definition is a very small class that we can have as many of them as we want in base, and the implementation, where the bulk of the code will only be in the specific project, in the specific module, and that way it is easier to maintain and easier to separate, and will only be loaded once needed. Perfect. So after we've added the parameters to the run method, we'll need to make some more adjustments to our class in our Northwind Orders project. We'll change the inheritance. Instead of inheriting from UI controller base, we are going to inherit from the abstract class that we've defined. That way, we know that Customers Orders Core implements the definition that is defined over here, and will override the run method. This run method is abstract and needs to be overridden in any class that inherits from it, so we'll make this override over here. And the goal of this override and this statement over here is to make sure that the Customers Orders Core class abides to the rules defined by the definition in the Customers Orders class. And for those of you who come from Oracle, this greatly resembles package header and package body, and there's definitions for that all over in all sorts of languages. So those are the steps we needed to do. Let's just recap them very, very quickly. We renamed the class to be named Core. We've added an abstract base class based on the template abstract base class. We've changed the run method to match the run methods of our original controller. We've changed the inheritance of our class to inherit from customers' orders. And we've overridden the run method to make sure that they all abide to the same rules. Now let's switch back to Northwind customers. Over here, the color of the customer's order have changed. You can see from black to blue, but still we have the red line underneath it. That's because we cannot create an instance of the abstract class or interface customer orders. You cannot say new abstract class. And this is where the create method comes in. Instead of doing new, we are going to call orders.customersorders.create. And this in turn will call this method that will call the abstract factory. And the abstract factory is very simple. It will go and find this class and then return it. Okay? It will do that by searching in a DLL with this name for a class with this name plus core. And we have it defined over here. Okay? The idea of keeping the same naming conventions allows us to know, based on the names, where is the actual implementation. So when we go to call create, The abstract factory class will load a DLL by this name and search for a class with this name plus the word core at the end. And that's how we'll get this implementation over here and run it. Great. So this is the final code. This is how it should work. So when you're calling a project, a DLL from another project, from a sibling project that you're not referencing, use the order customers orders.create, or you can even shorten it and simply use this syntax directly if you like.